Jackie. Welcome to my channel, Jacq from Jersey. I decided to start a cooking show because I'm always cooking, posting on Instagram, and a lot of people ask for my recipes. And, you know, cooking is absolutely fabulous to me. Like, I love it. It's therapy. Even when I was working full time, I enjoyed the whole cooking ritual. So today we're gonna make gravy, and yes, it's gravy in my house. Typical Italian-American dish. I'm not putting a lot of meat in it today. We're gonna do some meatballs, we're gonna do some sausage, and we're gonna make them together. So the first thing you should do is get your mise en place done. So here's what you will need for Grandma's gravy. Extra virgin olive oil, 1 large onion chopped red or yellow, 5 to 6 garlic cloves sliced, 1 handful of fresh basil torn or a tablespoon dried, 1 handful of fresh oregano chopped or 1 tablespoon dried, a half a handful of fresh thyme or 1 teaspoon dried, and a pinch or more of crushed red pepper flakes. Next, you'll need red or white wine, a can of tomato paste, 3 to 4 28-ounce cans of crushed tomatoes, preferably organic, a handful of cane sugar, a cup of pecorino romano grated, sea salt and pepper to taste, a stick of pepperoni cut into chunks, skinned if needed, like if there's a lot of skin on it, and meat for your gravy. So the meat I like to use is 3 to 4 links each of hot and sweet Italian sausage, 2 pork braciole, 2 beef braciole, and 4 meaty pork spare ribs, and it'll make your gravy just so wonderful. The more meat you put in, the better it tastes. So we have, which I will show you, have the stuff for the gravy. We have some onions, garlic, about 6 cloves of garlic, 1 onion, and some pepperoni, which is my secret ingredient. Then for the meatballs, we have grated cheese, which also goes in the gravy. We have parsley, we have more garlic. We also have some herbs, some basil and oregano, some breadcrumbs, which I will soak in half and half, some organic canned tomatoes, and here we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is salt and pepper my sausage. So I'm going to go over here and I will take a picture. Now we have, I'm going to do the sausage and I'm going to brown it up first and then put it in another dish. And then we're going to start our gravy and then make the meatballs. I'm using a really big pot because I hate when things are crowded. So heat up your pan and let's add our sausage. Oops, I dropped it. And that'll get nice and brown. Then we'll stick it in a dish and start everything else. As you can see, I'm getting a really nice brown on the sausage. You don't want to cook it through because you want it to cook in the gravy, but you do want a nice brown. So now I'm going to start the gravy. Let's put it up to about medium high. Put a little olive oil and extra virgin organic, please. I don't care what they say, I have to use it. Let's start with the onion, and it's sizzling already. I like to add a little dried basil to this as well, just to give it a little dried basil flavor. Can't find my dried oregano, so I have to forego dry for fresh. Put a little thyme in there. Red crushed pepper goes in everything. Do a sprig of oregano. And then just wait till the onions get nice and translucent, or getting there, and then we add the garlic. Okay, it's getting a nice color on it. Let's add the garlic. I like to put a little salt in as I go here, just to give it a little salt. So I'm browning the garlic. I like mine a little brown, you know. So almost ready for the tomato paste. I just want you to excuse my hair. I don't have a car, so I can't go get it done for this video. So what you see is what you get. It's au naturel, Jacqueline. So I hope you're enjoying it anyway. So you want to add like a can of organic tomato paste, and you want to make sure that you cook it so it gets a dark color. I'm going to lower my heat to medium because it's going to burn. We don't want it to burn. So that's burning my pot pretty good, but I might like the center. It's really hot. You can't touch this pot. I like my cast iron, my Le Creuset, but I need more room for my meatballs. So now I'm going to, it's turning a darker color. Now I'm going to add a little wine. Stand back. I add red wine. You could add what you want. I've been staying away from California wines. And you want to deglaze the pan, wipe off all the bits on the bottom. I've been using Italian or French wines because of the glyphosate that is sprayed on the crops. I'm trying to be healthier. Ever since my dad got sick and passed away, I've made a full effort to eat healthy, eat organic, no antibiotics, no hormones, nothing, and no pesticides. I mean, obviously, if I go out, I'm not crazy like that, but at home, I'd like to know what I'm putting in, you know, my food for my husband and I and my family. Okay, so I'm going to add 3 cans of organic tomatoes. I have Cento here. I'm just going to put the cans on the side because I'm going to add some water. Here's another can. Oh, and I got it all over the backsplash. Gotta love that. A plum tomato. That's just what I had. I didn't have a third thing. But I like to add water to everything. So I add a half can each from all the tomatoes. Cans of tomatoes, and then I break up these tomatoes, let them cook down for a moment while I'm getting this done. So now I have all my water in, and I'm breaking up my tomatoes, and then I start adding the rest of the ingredients. Not the meat yet. You gotta let the gravy cook for at least half hour to an hour before you put meat in, because then it gets too watery. You want the water to evaporate and become a nice, like, thicker sauce. My gravy's cooking. I'm gonna put in the rest of the ingredients, which I'll take you over there. And also, I'm gonna stick in just 1 piece of pepperoni, not the whole stick, just to like let it cook a little longer and get some spices into it. So I'm gonna put some cane sugar in, I know, just a nice little handful, and I'll keep it out for later in case I need it. 1 little piece of pepperoni. Grated cheese, because you need a grated cheese. And I just grated some, but we'll put the rest of this that my husband hasn't eaten because he has a grated cheese addiction. And let's just mix that up. I remember when I was in Florida with my friend Noel, he hated cheese and I made him gravy and he wouldn't eat it. I was very disappointed. Noel, so if you're listening, this is about you. So now I'm going to add my basil and oregano, fresh, chopped up. Maybe a little bit more wine. I don't know. And I'm just gonna let this cook for a little while. So for the meatballs, you're gonna need a cup of whole milk or half and half, a pound of ground veal, a pound of ground pork, 3 to 3.5 cups of fresh breadcrumbs from Italian bread, 3 eggs beaten, a half a cup of fresh minced parsley, 1 cup of grated pecorino romano, 6 large garlic cloves minced, salt and pepper to taste, and dried Italian style breadcrumbs if needed. Okay, so we're gonna make the meatballs. So I have, which I'll show you in a sec. I have a pound of pork, a pound of veal. I like politically incorrect meat, but if you don't like that, you could substitute it with beef. I have garlic, salt and pepper, parsley, eggs, and breadcrumbs that I soaked in half and half. So now I have everything in the bowl for my meatballs, and I have my soaked breadcrumbs that I have to add. I have a cookie sheet with parchment paper on it, so I could just, mix everything. The eggs in here, I also, I don't know if I mentioned, but I did put grated cheese on it. Head over to my blog and check out my blog. Subscribe, and I will give you recipes. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to mix this. Now, I also have another little, secret. It's not going to be a secret after this. If anybody's watching, I also have a little secret about, sometimes it's too watery. You're supposed to squeeze out the milk from the breadcrumbs, but I don't do that. So, because I just put enough to, do it. I like to use some Italian seasoned breadcrumbs, and they seem to work really well. So the best way to test these, if you want, is just like take a little bit, put it in a frying pan, and then you can test it. I don't do it, and I just kind of pray to God that everything tastes all right. So I did season with a little breadcrumbs just to firm up a little bit because they're a little mushy. And I do have some more grated cheese that I might add, but I would like, there's a lot in there. Okay, I think we're mixed enough. Well, the garlic in there and whatnot. Okay, so I like to make a bigger meatball, like a polpette, which is, I guess about that. I usually like them a little bigger, but I'll make them a little smaller because my husband eats them constantly. So let's do that. So here you have them. They're basically the same size. Put them on a cookie sheet, and then I bake them in the oven at 350 convection or 375 regular oven for maybe 15 minutes, 10 depending. I check them after 10. Okay, it's up. It is hot down here in the South. Going from Jersey, which I heard it's really hot in Jersey today, to the Low Country, it's so sweltering. So I hope you don't mind that I put my hair up, and we're gonna continue. Next time I'm definitely getting my hair done, but it is what it is. So I just put my meatballs in the oven. I'm gonna check them in about 10-15 minutes to see if they're just lightly brown, because you want them to cook in the gravy. The difference between sauce and gravy to me, and this is how I grew up, my grandmother, great-grandmother, whole 9 yards, is that sauce is like a marinara sauce, or marinara as we say in dialect Italian. And it doesn't have any meat in it. It just has like maybe some garlic and olive oil and basil and oregano. And then, oregano. And then there is gravy, which you put your meat in and you make it a little different. You use the meat juices that are, that you brown the meat in. Normally I would put like a braciole. I would put some beef and pork, which I love. I would put some spare ribs in there. My grandmother used to use pork bones, like the neck bones, put them in there. Made the gravy taste amazing. So the more meat you have in there, the more flavorful your gravy becomes. So my gravy's been cooking for a little bit. So I'm gonna put in the sausage. I'll just wait for the meatballs. And then that will cook in here. I only have 3 pieces because the sausage that I originally had went bad. So I had some new sausage and I put that in. And this is hot sausage because I like the hot flavor. But you could put a combo of hot and sweet, or you could just put sweet. And every time you add more meat, you should increase the heat because it does not, the temperature goes down, so you need to increase the meat. The meat. You need to increase the heat for the meat. So I poured myself a glass of wine, as you see. Salud. Cooking without wine is a sin. Anyway. So I'm going to put in my last few pieces of pepperoni to get that going in here. Stir it up and cook some more. This sucker is going to be cooking all day on low. So a couple things. So the wine. You don't have to use wine if you don't want to. I like to keep it as a backup too. Like say I oversalt the gravy, you know, between the pecorino, because I only use pecorino romano. I put that in. Sometimes it's extra salty. You put a little salt in, sometimes it's salty. So you have to cut it with either sugar or wine, and it will cut the salt. I know a lot of people put a carrot in, put a potato in, but my family never did that, so I don't do that. And also, I want to talk about healthy options. So I'm really, you know, enjoying the healthy options that I've tried to use. So So when you're buying olive oil, I like to buy an organic olive oil that's a one source, and my alarm is going off. So my meatballs are ready. So let me put this on the side here. You don't want to overcook your meatballs because then they'll get just rubbery in the sauce because they're been cooking in the gravy all day, you know? Meatballs are ready. Okay, so the meatballs are out of the oven and I'm going to add them to the gravy so they cook nice. Carefully put them on top because they will fall apart. I don't pack them too much so they're not real hard. I remember my dad liking my mother's meatballs better because my grandmother made them too packed down. They were like little rocket, you know, they were delicious, believe me, but they were harder. And I don't know, my husband says I make the best meatballs, so I can only go by him. I probably should, if I'm cooking for company, I would have tested them out, but I'm just cooking for us. So, and I'll probably give some to my neighbors if they're good. And here's the last bowl. And I will definitely have a snack of that when I am done. And I'll probably move my thing back to the center again. Okay. So these guys are going to cook away. I'm going to cover the pot and leave a little bit. So I like to put my burners up so I don't burn my gravy. So as I was saying before, it's important to know where your olive oil comes from. So I have organic extra virgin olive oil, first cold press, and it's like single source. You don't want stuff that's all over the planet. You want something from like one place. That makes the best olive oil. Also when you're cooking, for other dishes, not necessarily Italian dishes, but like I use avocado oil because it has a high smoke point, but I want to make sure that it's 100% avocado oil as well. Also coconut oil, I'll use that for baking more so, but I don't really, the coconut taste is like too much for me, and my husband doesn't like it. But I don't use any seed oils. They become toxic and rancid, and they're not good for your body. So I would stick to extra virgin olive oil, even though they say don't cook with it, but too bad I'm cooking with it because I am Italian American. And avocado oil, that's my two favorites, and it doesn't really have a taste, so you can't taste anything. So if you're frying something up, you know, it's just nicely fried and browned without it being, you know, have that overpowering taste. Okay, I'm sweaty because it's 101 heat index, and I just went out for a little bit to the bar and chill to have a beer. I know a beer, I never drink beer, but it's so like hot here. I'm in the South and I love it. I'll take it. Anyway, let's talk about pasta for a minute. So I'm using this Mancini Pastificio Agricolo, and it is pasta. I'm not sure if this one is organic, but the key to pasta is you do not want non-enriched flour. You do not want Teflon dye, you want bronze dye, you want it slow dried. That is the best pasta you could get. The other stuff has microplastics on it, and it's really not good for you. What they do is they take out all the vitamins and stuff out of the flour, and then they put them back in. So it's very processed. So you want non-enriched flour from Italy are usually good, or if you get organic, you're in good shape. So give that a shot when you're cooking your pasta. Tonight I'm gonna be cooking some rigatoni to go with my gravy. And I just tasted a piece of that sausage. Oh, Maronna mia, it is so hot, but it's so good. I don't know about you guys, but this is how I know my gravy's ready. My mouth starts to water when I smell it. And then I know that it's ready to go. Obviously, I'll adjust any taste, whether it needs a little salt or it needs more wine or it needs some grated cheese, whatever the case may be. And it's not there yet. I'm cooking a little bit longer and it should be good. Years ago, I used to cook it overnight, like not overnight, but like I start the night before, then I'd shut it off, and then I'd put it back on in the morning and I'd cook all day. But for sake of time, it tastes just as good if you're cooking it for 4 or 5 hours than cooking it all day. So when the water gets to a rolling boil, I put in the salt. Make sure you salt it up pretty good because you want to flavor the macaroni. And we put it in, give it a stir, and cook it for, I think, like 9 minutes. This package directions say for al dente, because you want to have it al dente. You don't want to have it any other way. Hi, so I put the pasta in, and it's cooking. Make sure to salt the water, and then we're going to wait for the pasta to be done, and then we'll do our pasta in here and our meat in here. Okay, so we're ready to plate the pasta. What I'm going to do is put a little gravy on the bottom. There's your gravy. I grated my own cheese and I stuck it back in here, but I shouldn't be using plastic, but you know, it is what it is today. Ooh. And then some more gravy and some more grated cheese, and then I'll plate the meat. I'll be right back. So we're all done. Got the pasta, got the meat, and we're ready to eat. So I hope you enjoyed my show today. There'll be more. Please like and comment, and please let me know what you want to see next time. I'd be happy to make it. I make all kinds of food, not only Italian, but I love to make Chinese food, Mexican food, Spanish food, French food. So take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Don't forget to like and subscribe.